Hold up. They know the money is coming to go. So what?
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is your boy Tony from Tony Television. And of course, I'm here today to drop a nice video on you. The subject of this video would be, where did snitching originate and why is snitching so relevant in the black community? Now, before I get into this video, I'd like you to go ahead, like, subscribe, comment. You don't have to comment right now. You can comment actually when the video's done. Watch it to the end, of course. I won't make it too long for you at all. I'll try to get straight to the point. But go ahead and subscribe if you're not a subscriber right now. Go ahead and like the video, one for the algorithm, so we can get this going. I'll be dropping a lot new content. A lot of people will be joining me as time goes on. You'll see the actual podcast grow. But this video is about snitching, okay? The origins of snitching and why is it relevant in the black community. Now, first of all, they go hand in hand. The reason it's relevant in the black community is because of the origin of snitching. Black people, in case you've been under a rock, black people in America were transported here. A lot of us, most of us transported here by way of ships, slaves, going into this deep thing where they were making a lot of money off of us picking cotton and growing businesses off of our ideas without us getting a dime from it. Now, at this particular time, you have to understand is the big boom of America. This is what made America as powerful as it is right now. And the reason I had to go into this is because you must understand that America's foundation at this time was built on making sure that black people stayed down, stayed at the bottom, that they, just as much as they were about coming up for themselves, they had the same energy about keeping black people down. So as you can see from the water hosing, from the Ku Klux Klan, from setting crosses in front of houses and kidnapping kids and Emmett Till and so much, they were about keeping black people down. So you have people that we have an example of that we can look at, people like Harriet Tubman, which is one of, she's my favorite hero, by the way, which is one of the people that emerged from the African Americans in order to free a lot of African Americans that were deprived, enslaved, and placed in such savage conditions at that time. Now, while she was in the process, you have to look at it, because they were trying to hold us down for so long, so hard, so much. We couldn't read. We were not allowed to read, okay? We don't want y'all niggas learning ABCs out this motherfucker. Anything that can help y'all niggas, we are totally against. So at that particular time, we were adamant about learning. Okay, niggas want to learn. Niggas want to know what's going on. Okay, niggas want to, see how we can resolve issues here. So while we were being curious about learning, they were being adamant about keeping us from learning, keeping us from progressing, and thus came the snitch from the slave who started learning and the other one who said, I'm gonna go tell master. I'm gonna go tell that you are trying to get over on his system. That's what I'm going to tell. So snitching, once again, it goes back that far in the black community where it now becomes a thing where you're trying to tell on me trying to get over on a system that is against me and you, nigga. They're against me and you telling on me because I'm trying to get over. Okay. So you can only imagine while Harriet Tubman was freeing slaves, if, had she been able to free as many, if there were a lot of snitches, I doubt it. Okay. So a lot of black people had to just be silent about it, even if they were one of the rescued or not. They had to be silent about it and say, you know what, let her do what she do. And we need a way to get over on this system. And she will, obviously be successful at what she's doing, and we don't have to say anything, and maybe one day I can join her Underground Railroad and I could be one of those free people too. So at that particular time, we understood the importance of, listen, there's a system placed against us consistently, and we must combat that system. And in order to combat the system, we must fight from the inside out, but we can't let them know what we're doing. And this is how the snitch came about, where he would go tell Master where them niggas at. Them niggas know how to read. Them niggas got a plan. Them niggas trying to escape. Them niggas is them niggas, okay? So this is where the snitch originated from. Now, the snitch, of course, grew as the slave grew. Okay. Once we were free, so to speak, and let's not credit that to Abraham Lincoln in regards to him having compassion for African Americans. The North was being industrialized, and he felt like one of the best ways to keep America up to date was to go ahead and let things be industrial, and let's take away the slaves in order so that most of them could come and work for the factories and make us more money. America was growing. So it wasn't over compassion. That's all I'm trying to say. He didn't release us over compassion. But once again, as the slave grew, the snitch grew. And once we were free, now, you couldn't tell on us, learning how to read or learning how to write or wanting to run away. But there were other ways. There were other things at that particular time where, once again, the snitch also grew. Now, I'm not sure if many of you know, but you can research this on your own. After slavery and black people were free, of course, there was a high distrust for the people that had us in captivity. At that time, the distrust was at an all-time high. We don't trust you. And it was known. It was very well known. So what happened was a lot of black people got together, purchased land, purchased properties, and built their own communities, their own villages, their own thing outside of what, the white people at that time deemed the cool place to be. At the end of the day, we just didn't want anything to do with them, right? We didn't want to end up back into a victimized situation. So there was a time when, even on America's land, if something happened in the black community that needed policing outside of the black community, because we were actually policing our own communities, there was one representative from the black community, and they would send one representative from their side, one cop, one cavalry guy, whatever you want to call it. They would send one guy, and he would talk with our one guy, and they would do things reasonably. Okay, they would do things very reasonably in regards to, look, we don't want to see Josie's son thrown away. We just want justice, and we want it done the right way, and blah, blah, blah. And there was a more reasonable outcome in regards to that. So things were separated. Okay, things were separated. And the truth is, when things were separated, the outcome was better for us. We had more ownership. We had more land. We had more respect from other cultures. I mean, if you look at people like the Indians, that's just a prime example. The Indians say, look, we don't want nothing to do with y'all. Y'all fucked us over. We standing on that. And because they stand on that, everyone else respects them. So on with the snitching, okay? As we grew, the snitch grew, okay? So once again, there was a time when the cop had to deal with one representative from the community. But you must understand the history of this black-white thing that was going on. And if you understand it, then you know that even as they sent the one cop, the thirst for them to want to be in the community, finding out what we're doing, curiosity, and wanting to go in and just wreak their havoc, the thirst was there. And Black Wall Street is a prime example of that thirst being ready to go. They burnt that whole place down and destroyed that whole place in less than 24 hours because they was already thirsty, ready to go. So the thirst for them wanting to get inside has always been there. They never liked us being separated because the separation demanded respect, and through that respect is how we could have became reparated like the Indians. So there came a time, Martin Luther King, when we decided, hey, you know what? Let's get with you guys and you guys get with us, and I think we can make this world a better place. All of us together. Now, what I think we missed at that particular time where we dropped the ball was we were alone so long at that time, and we were progressing so well in our own communities that they wanted to come up with a plan of thirst to infiltrate our communities to victimize our kids, okay? Now you see it. They're victimizing them by way of technology, the justice system, shooting them down, not even getting charged for it. Derek Brown, Trayvon Martin. You can go on and on. But we dropped the ball in understanding that the number one thing was they just wanted in on our community in order to victimize our vulnerable. The women, the kids, lock them up, put them on drugs, screw them over in the system, so that way we can victimize the women and the kids. Women and kids are the spoils of war. When you captivate or take a people captive, the men, if you kill them off, lock them up, screw them over, you win over. Your gift is the women and their kids. And that's what's going on with African Americans due to us allowing them too much into our community. And the number one person that allows them to know everything about our community? It's a snitch. This is the origin of snitching, and this is why it's so disliked in the black community, even though the average black person may not even understand how deep this goes in the way I broke it down to explain to you why they dislike it so much. But it comes from their grandmothers and grandfathers and down the line. About snitching, about telling other groups of people what we're doing behind their back. Now, if you put things in perspective, it's the same as white people, because they do crimes. They kill people. The judges, the lawyers, these supposed to be legitimate people, they do crimes. Let's get that straight, okay? But could you imagine them going out on fishing trips like Dick Cheney when he shot the other guy in the forest? Could you imagine them doing their crimes and then knocking on a black man's door to tell him everything? Hey, let me tell you how I shot him in the forest. Let me tell you how I did this, man. I want to tell you how what's really going on. They would never knock on a black man's door to give up the inside information of crimes and things that they do on the inside in order to progress in a business manner or whatever manner that they're trying to progress. So when you look at it from that perspective, it looks crazy with us knocking on their door when we are involved in things, saying, Mr. White Man, I want to tell you what the niggas is over there doing. Well, you were a part of it. You were helping them do it. There's an old school saying, you take the good with the bad. And I think that we've come to a point where we don't want to face our consequences anymore. And this is why snitching becomes so popular with the youth in the black community. They want to enjoy all the spoils of the street life. I get the bitches, I get the cars, I get the money, I catch the bodies. But then when the chickens come home to roost and it's time to pay the price for those things because nothing is free, they want a way out of paying the price. Now, I have a little bit of news for you young people, 6ix9ine included. You can snitch your way out of that situation, but you still have to pay the price for that situation. Okay? So snitching is a temporary fix. It's a Band-Aid. You know, I eased out of there a little bit. I ain't got to go to jail, but you're going to have to face other consequences in regards to snitching. So I just really wanted to touch on that and, you know, explain why it's so relevant in the black community and why it's so disliked because of the history of us dealing with another group of people. And when we should be able to deal with our own, we should be able, one time we were policing our own, right? So just going to tell and scream and to another group of people who has never loved us, who has never cared about us as a whole, who only looks at us as customers, it looks kind of crazy. Now, granted, you know, and what we're talking about, I definitely want to put things into perspective here. You know, we're talking about people that are living that lifestyle. We're not talking about for the 50, 60-year-old man, 70-year-old man who works a job every day and the guys next door are doing things to disrupt his entire lifestyle. You know, you got to handle those things, and hopefully you handle them legally and accordingly. But the snitch generally comes from when we had our own community going and there was someone amongst us who would give them inside information in regards to what we were doing. Because once again, there was a time when they were shut off from our community. They wanted to know what we were doing. They were thirsty for knowing what we were doing, and they wanted to infiltrate. So the snitch became the person who allowed them to infiltrate our information. We're at a different day now, okay? We live with them. We've been with them. They're policing. You know, I just want to say this before I end it as well. You know, this is why in policing, they give black men so many years for little crimes, and white guys and other people get away with some of the things they give us life for. Casey Anthony killed her daughter, got away with it. It's because, number one, the system was designed against you, and that's something that black people tend to not want to face all the way. We don't want to just admit that this entire system was designed against me, my people that look like me. Yeah, even though you free nowadays, they haven't went to change any laws to make sure that things are equal for you nor your people. So, you know, they've always wanted to take advantage of us and lock us up, throw away the key. And I just think that today's time, when they're doing that to our young boys, it shows still the eagerness that they have for wanting to destroy us as a people. And I think where they have most people confused is they show you a good social life. Like, look, we're all equal. You can go to the restaurant and eat next to her. You can kick it with white people. You can kick it with any color you like, man. There's no racism here. But then when it comes to the judicial system, which is the back end, this is where you see the biasness and the racism, actually, where we're not equal at that point. This white guy and this white lady I was kicking it with, they didn't get no time for the same crime. I got 5 years for DUI or whatever have you. And once again, this is where they have the wool over our eyes, allowing us, because at one time, you know, we Dr. King, we wanted to be accepted by them. So on a social level, when they allow us to eat with them and chill with them and even have sex with them, we feel like, okay, yeah, everything's equal now. It's not like back in the day. Well, if you look at the judicial system, once again, the numbers are just like back in the day, where they got a lot of niggas locked up for inflated numbers, a lot of innocent black men. No proof, no DNA. Shit. I mean, they didn't even have DNA on Tory Lanez, and he's locked up for who knows how long. I'll keep you guys updated on that. And we'll see, we'll have a video about that, about how much time they give Tory when he's sentenced. It's a hell of a thing what's happening with Robert Kelly right now, I tell you, but we'll do that in a different video as well. The only reason for this video was to speak the origin of a snitch, where it came from, why it's so disliked in the black community. Right now, I don't, it's the snitch is open. Everyone can be a snitch, and it's okay because we don't have our own thing going on anymore. We're a part of their thing. So I guess brothers feel like, hey, why not snitch it out, right? I can get protection from them. I can get immunity from them and even get paid from them. But anyways, it isn't here. I'm not here to judge whether I think it's good or bad, wrong or right. I will say this. I do believe that if you partake in crimes and you're like willing to do these things and you're enjoying it and benefiting from it, then you should be willing to wear the consequences that come with that as well, the same as enjoying the crime. You should do the time. Anyways, this is your boy right here, Tony. You like, comment, subscribe, anything you want to add, anything where I need to revise, let me know. I'm out of here.
Stand on top like I'm King Kong. Paddle niggas like a ping pong. Run my block like I'm King Von.